Hello YouTube, it's Daft Steve 333 here again with a quick pickups video. Been a bit scarce recently just because I had a lot of things on and not much money to spend. But I thought I'd just show me presents on here for a bit and sort of give you a quick overview of recent weeks. So before I launch into the pickups, so to speak, let you know that I went to the Eurogamer show at the NEC recently, probably a couple of weeks or so back. I'll just turn this down a little bit. Between that and the sound of the PS2, you probably can't hear me blathering on, which might be a good thing. Anyway, so yeah, I went to Eurogamer. Quite an entertaining show. After the first day I was a little underwhelmed because there was no Xbox presence there, there was no Nintendo presence there, but I sort of warmed to it as the days went by because I do tend to go for all 4 days, and I finally got to go on the PSVR. That was one of the main things I wanted to look at while I was there. Interestingly enough, it wasn't actually through PlayStation. A lot of their slots for trying out the system had actually been booked up in advance. I tried on both occasions to get at one of those slots. They must have gone very quickly, so I was unsuccessful there. But you could turn up on the day, queue, and then hopefully be lucky enough to get a slot. So found that out on day one, went back day two, went straight to the stall on the second day, got straight in the queue, queued there for 3/4 of an hour. Someone came up the queue, stamped my hand twice, said you're in the second set of people to get times. We'll be back in a minute for a slot, so to speak, and then 10 minutes more queuing, or 15 minutes or so more queuing. They come along and said, sorry, we made a mistake, you'll have to come back at 1 o'clock when we do the same thing again. So went back there, had a look what was happening about 12:30, could see there was nothing happening. Went back at just before 1, asked where the queue to sort of get a PSVR slot was, and they said, oh, it's over there, but it's too late, they've already been booked. And this was just before 1, so I was a bit pissed off, to be honest with you. So I went over to Rebellion's stand. Now Rebellion, you might remember from olden times, so to speak. They currently do the Sniper Elite series. They own 2000 AD now, I believe. I think they did the first Alien vs Predator game as well. Could be wrong. Memory isn't what it was. The old grey cells are getting fewer in number. But anyway, went over there. They're doing a reworking of Battlezone. So I queued there for about an hour and got to go. And I was really impressed. So I'm intending to get a PSVR. I don't know quite how I'm going to afford it. And I probably won't be one of the first people to get it because it actually comes out day after tomorrow, I think. Anyway, I was impressed enough. It was very immersive. I was very pleased to hear it was running off normal PS4s, and I can see myself getting one sooner or later. So yeah, impressed. Other games that I played there were pretty good. Had a nice big retro section, which I think has been pretty much reproduced at Play last weekend, from what I can see. One of these days I'll make it up there. I do know that a lot of the tubers that I follow have been sort of umming and ahhing about whether or not to go, or had been, a few months ago or after last year's event, because it seemed to be moving away from retro, and obviously there were very little there in the way of traders stalls. However, I've watched a couple of videos the last couple of days, and it seems that perhaps there was a bigger retro sellers presence there, so I don't know, I need to watch more videos really. So anyway, me, what have I been doing? Like I say, not been doing that much picking up of games recently. Like I say, mixture of things being, things on, not much money to spend, etc, etc. But I have found the odd thing here and there. So where to start? Probably I'll start off with a good one. This was down the recycle centre. I actually picked up this, which I couldn't quite believe I'd seen. It looks like it's just literally been taken out of the packaging. It is Shadow of the Colossus, which I do have already, but this is absolutely mint. It's got the cards in there, and the manual. There's the manual. It looks like it's never been opened. here are the cards. Excuse me. And I thought, well, I've got to get that. That, believe it or not, was £1, and it was just sort of separate to where the rest of the games were in the recycle centre that I go to. I don't know if someone had put it aside, or didn't know whether it was a film or a computer game, despite it having PlayStation 2 on the top. But I thought, I've got to have that because that's even better condition than mine. My existing one is pretty similar, but as you can see, these bits here are a little scuffed. Other than that, it's pretty decent itself. There you go. And mine also, you know, my existing one also has the art cards in pretty similar condition. The manual's in pretty similar condition. So, as much as I don't go for sealed games, I mean, I had to pick that up because it is as close to sealed as you're possibly going to get, and perfect condition. Oh yeah, so a couple more little scuffs around there. So that one I'll be probably trading in, and obviously my super duper minty copy I'll be keeping because it's a great game, and I'm absolutely over the moon to get a really good copy of it. So what else have I found? Let's see. Oh, before I forget, obviously picking up games at boot sales and so on, you sort of get home and sometimes you find that discs aren't in as good a condition as they might have looked out in the open. So I generally sort of clean them up with generally you know, a bit of bit of elbow grease. Sometimes use a bit of Brasso because unbelievably that works quite well in sort of reducing minor scratches. And every now and again I've tried this, which is one of those cheapy disc resurfacing machines from Maplin. Generally it's pretty crap, so I've generally used it to more or less clean discs as opposed to resurface them, because I didn't find that it made much of a difference. But oddly enough, I bought this stuff for my car. This isn't an advert, by the way, it's just a suggestion. This is car polish. It's like a medium abrasive polish, and I thought I'm going to try that because I have a couple of copies of New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii, which I could not get working despite using Brasso, despite trying to resurface with this thing a few times. And I thought, what am I going to lose? I'll stick a bit of this stuff on, see if that works. So did the usual routine, sort of cleaned them with those, put the resurface, well, then put the different pads in, put a drop of this in, then cleaned them up afterwards with the third set of pads that come in the machine, and it works. It worked on both discs, so I now have two working copies of New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii, and this stuff seems to work. So I can see this being used a lot more on my discs, well, discs that need them, and less on the car. So moving on. Anyway, that little hint, or a tip if you like. What else have I found? Odds and sods, really. This was in a sort of cash generator type place. Ratchet & Clank Trilogy for the Vita. Cost me a tenner, or $9.99. As you can see, the cartridge isn't in there because it's in my Vita. Considering that usually sells for about 25 quid, I was very pleased to find that. These two were £1 each for the PSP, Prince of Persia Revelations, and Call of Duty Roads to Victory, another two. That's the PSP collection. I keep finding this game, Jet Set Radio Future, in its own box. And there we go. Very happy with that. Good game, very good game. And I just can't help picking it up, which you may find out a bit later. Town where I work. Unusually, or usually perhaps, a lot of charity shops in that particular town, and unusually a lot of the charity, well, 3 of the charity shops have gone, well, they've closed in the last 2 weeks. I think it's due to landlords putting up the rent, which is daft. They do that where I live as well. It seems the landlords or the local council would rather have places sit empty than actually be earning money off rent. Anyway, I've been eyeballing these for probably 6 weeks. They were priced up originally at £7.50 each, and I thought, even though they're in nice condition, I couldn't quite justify spending that much. I thought that was possibly a little overpriced. I went in there after they put down that they were closing down. They reduced them to £5 each. I thought they might knock them down a bit further because they'd actually taken them off display, and presumably we're going to get rid of them somewhere or the other. And it's 2 Atari 2600 games, which you don't see very often. This one I've already got, cartridge only, which is Yars' Revenge, with a nice little Woolworths price sticker, $29.95. And just to show you, they are in really nice nick. We've got obviously a very nice cartridge there, none of the sort of marking that you sometimes get on the 2600 cartridges, and a lovely manual with obviously all the full colour pictures within. So yeah, I couldn't resist it. I suppose I might have even overpaid at £5 each, but Yars' Revenge is a good game, as is the other one that I got, which I shall show you in a second. There we go, that's back safe. So that's Yars' Revenge. The other one was Berserk, which I don't have for the 2600, although I do have for my Vectrex. And again, very nice condition. Here's the manual. Someone has really looked after these, which is lovely. There we go. And this one does have a little bit of that slight marking on the label. I don't know if you can make it out. It's like a mottled sort of effect. I'm not sure if that's reflecting off the light on the camera, but yeah, like I say, I couldn't resist those. The gamer in me was sort of like, you can't leave them behind, because I'd actually gone in and they'd been taken off display, and I says, "Oh, I noticed your Atari games are gone." And they went, No, we just moved them off the shop floor upstairs. So God knows what would have become of them. Hopefully they wouldn't have been chucked in the tip, but that was probably what persuaded me to get them anyway. So a couple of odds and sods. Found this at the car boot. This was 20p. An old version of Edge's Best 100 Video Games, actually published I think about 10 years ago, so it's almost retro in itself, but whoever had it previously has obviously looked after it. Very nice condition. So that's there. I finally found this, which I'm finding that WH Smiths aren't actually stocking a lot of these bookazines, or whatever they call them. It's the Sega archives. I've been looking out for this for a while, because I know it had been out a few weeks, and I sort of I'm very annoyed that I missed out on the PlayStation book a few months ago. I saw it once, went back to buy it, and it had gone, and I've never seen one since. So I'm hoping they reprint it, because I do like to collect them. Anyway, I found that, so that was good. What next? Some things from the weekend just gone. Mixture of bits and bobs, really. Went to a fairly local car boot, a fairly big one that's quite local. It is getting more and more full of people that sort of just scooping up all the games. I was there a little later this week as well, which probably doesn't help. But I did find a few bits and pieces. So found this for £1. It's a bit rattly. I'm going to have to take it apart and give it a clean, look at it, see if that is in any way going to be an issue. I think it's probably just a piece of plastic that has broken off inside. I'll have a look, see if it's integral to the functionality of it. But £1, I thought I'll pick that up. Always good to have a spare, or a few spares. This was £1, which I do have already, but I think it's slightly better condition than mine. The case is slightly worse, but excuse me. The game's been pretty good in it. It's got the manual, which I don't think I don't think mine has, or if it has, it's a bit shabby. So I'll put together the best copy of that and trade the other. What next? I think the camera's just gone off. No. Camera's... Is it still going? Apologies there. For some reason there's like a built-in sort of light for the camera, which had just gone off, and I thought it stopped recording, but it obviously hasn't, so we'll continue. So, right, what was next? That's a film, I don't need to see that. This was one of two things. First thing is a PS4 game that I've given to my wife, Dragon Age Inquisition, PS4. It's a Region 3 one, but I know that PS4's Region Free, so to speak. So despite it being a Region 3, it's Region Free, so she can play it anyway. So she's had that off me. That was a £5, which was pretty decent. And I got Fable Anniversary, which was £2. It looks like it's the next promo copy. So yeah, that was pretty decent. Got these near the start of when I got there. Someone had just turned up and was putting them all out. 3 PS2 games, 3 Xbox 360 games. Donald Duck PK, which I don't have. Bloody Roar 3, which I do have. Wasn't quite sure. And the Bouncer, which I do have, but not in as good nick as that one. Car boots, I'm a bit loath to get the phone out, because I basically keep a picture of all my games on the phone. So I tend to refer to that if I'm in a gaming shop or something, but less so when I'm at a car boot, because it looks like I'm a reseller, and I just I don't know. To a certain degree, I suppose I am a reseller, because some of the games I will be trading in. But for the purposes of excuse me, getting more credit to buy more games. Excuse me, sorry, hard day at work, lots of blabbering. And the other 3 games, right, this one I don't have for the Xbox. I had the second one but not this one, so pleased to find it. X-Men Legends, the first one. This one I've never actually seen before, ever, I don't think. Nightcaster, Defeat the Darkness, which looks like a sort of an RPG. I don't know if it's rare or not, or what, but like I say, I've never seen it, even back when, you know, the Xbox was in the shops. So I thought that was worth picking up, give it a go, add it to the collection. And another copy of Jet Set Radio Future, which, for it being quite hard to find, I've actually found a few of them now. You tend to find it just like on the packing disc with Sega GT 2002, but I seem to be quite lucky with those at the moment. So, right, last couple of things from the car boot. Guy selling some PS1 games, or PlayStation games, because it is the PlayStation, not the PlayStation 1. I forget who mentioned that. Is it Retro Game Collector? I can't remember. Anyway, for the PlayStation, he got a few games. Most of them I'd already got, but these 2 I hadn't. I had this back in the day, Mortal Kombat 3. I remember getting very annoyed at, I think it was the last boss, is it Kintaro? Could not clear that boss. Anyway, very nice condition. This was marked up at £6. There we go. And this one was marked up at £5. I have the first. I didn't have this one, I don't have the second one, so I've got to look out for the second one. It's Battle Arena Toshinden 3. And again, pretty decent, despite pre-owned sticker from Game. I asked him if he'd do a tenner on the 2, and he said yeah, so not the world's biggest bargain, but I'm happy to pick them up and add them to the collection. Getting near the end now. These were picked up on my travels. I was out and about on Saturday, looked in a few charity shops, a couple of second-hand shops. This was £1. Sims 2 Apartment Pets. Asked my wife if she's interested in that because she's got a DS, she likes animals, not really got any interest. She tends to play stuff like Animal Crossing or Pokemon, so she ain't really interested in that. This was 50p, Project Gotham Racing 3. I couldn't leave it behind at 50p. Skate. I think that was from the car boot on Saturday. That was £3. I did get a copy of that a few weeks ago, but the disc was shit. So that's better. I'll hold on to that one. And this was 99p. I do have a copy of it already, but I'm not sure if I have the manual. So once again, I'll put together the best copy out of the two and trade the other. Good RPG, this one. Rogue Galaxy. And this was from a charity shop. As you can see, it was extortionately overpriced originally, and then they seem to be putting the prices down to equally ridiculous low prices. It is The Art of Resident Evil 5. As you can see, it was £17.48, which is a very arbitrary price. Don't know where they've plucked that from. But reduced to £2.49. I think they actually halved that as well. So it was more like about £1.25, which I couldn't say no to. I'm just trying to see if there's anything in there. Oh, look. There's actually a bookmark in here. And it was even more expensive than that. It was 20 quid originally. Jesus. Anyway, happy to get that, because I do like my Resident Evil. So the last few things, well, last couple of things. I spent a good whack of CEX credit recently. I've been storing it up, and I hadn't really seen anything that leapt out at me that I wouldn't have been a bit fed up at spending. Because I've noticed that the retro stuff, GameCube and obviously the N64 and the SNES stuff, it's a bit of a lottery as to the condition of it, whether it's got manuals, especially with the NES and SNES. And the GameCube stuff seems to be really rocketing up, but by or converse to that, the amounts that they give you trading on GameCube games seems to be going lower. It's a little bit naughty. So anyway, I've got this credit balance sort of building up and up and up, and I thought I'm going to have a look at graphics cards, because they brought out the new line of Nvidia and AMD cards. I think the RX 480 for the AMD version, and the GTX 1080 and 1070 on Nvidia's side of things. And I thought hopefully that might have pushed the price of like the previous generation down a bit, and it had. So I thought, bugger it, I need a new graphics card. My old GTX 460 is pretty much the minimum spec for most of the games that are coming out at the moment, so it's about the only component in my PC that needed upgrading. The rest of it is fairly capable really. So I thought, why not? So I got myself a GTX 970, I forget which make it was. Could have been Gigabyte, can't remember. Anyway, it's installed, it seems to play everything very nice, so that's sorting my PC out for a couple of 3 years, so that's me happy. The other things I spent my money on were two more games in franchises that I really liked. First one is one that I played on the 360, and I really loved it. A real sort of Marmite game. You either loved it or you hated it. I actually loved it. I loved the design of it, I loved the idea of it. I played it through in a no fatalities sort of mode, if you like, and it was the original was Mirror's Edge, and this is Mirror's Edge Catalyst. So I'm looking forward to playing that. I haven't had a chance yet. Work has been knackering me out enormously, so I've been coming home and just staring at the screen and falling asleep a lot of the time. I've been trying to catch up on YouTube videos, not getting very far, falling asleep, wake up and I'm like, oh, I need to go to bed. So anyway, planning to play that very soon. The next thing, or the last thing that I got, I've been looking forward to for a very long time. Big fan of the series, and I got this off Computer Exchange with what remained of my vouchers. It is the Deus Ex limited edition. or collector's edition, which comes in a great big box. It's got obviously the game in a steelbook. No season pass or anything, unfortunately. You're not supposed to get that. It's got a couple of additional bits and bobs that you put a code in for. It has an art book which I've left over there, so I'm sure you've all seen an art book before. I would show you it, but it's over there with the rest of my PS4 games. And the last thing was statue. And there you go, Deus Ex Mankind Divided. And it was easier to buy this because it was quite expensive, but it was easier to buy it with CEX tokens once one came into stock. I've got to say, first online purchases with CEX, quite pleased. Everything came well, well packed, no real damage. I think the box here, there's a couple of scuffs on it and so on, but I think they probably happened before they were actually traded in, so quite pleased with them. And that pretty much is it, really. So yeah, that's what I've been up to the last few weeks. I've not discovered, but I've been watching YouTubers High Score Challenge, and generally sort of enjoying watching the videos but not really taking part. I've just seen that is it Colin Atari Fitness? He's just posted up one for Hypersports, and Hypersports is one of my favourite arcade games, so I have joined up for that, and I will be giving it a bash. It'll also encourage me to get A, my RetroPie fully working, and B, get my capture device, my Hobhag, finally working. So hopefully within the next few days you'll see my high score attempt on it. So anyway, without any further ado, I'm going to sign off. This is Daft Steve 333. Oh, before I forget, thank you for everyone that stuck with me. Thanks to any new subscribers. Thanks to my existing subscribers for not unsubscribing. Obviously, if you like the video, feel free to comment, give it a thumbs up, and hopefully see you all soon. So this is Daft Steve 333 trying again and signing off. Bye bye.